We are now at video 7, the final video in this bite-sized course on strategic communications. I hope that it has been a valuable course for you so far. I hope that you have seen several things that you can begin to implement to just build on and improve the work that you currently do as a communications and public relations professional. I thought that it would be great to end this course by talking about some of the common challenges and obstacles we face as we do our work in comms and PR. The truth is that you can learn the principles, you can master it, but if you don't have the enabling environment that allows you to implement, that allows your ideas to thrive, it might be really frustrating. So I'm going to talk you through about 5 of the common challenges and obstacles and my thoughts on how to deal with them. Some of you will face obstacles that will be unique to you because organizations are different, individuals are different. For example, if you have a CEO that sees the value of communications, the challenges you would face will be different from someone who is working with a CEO or a senior leadership, senior management team that doesn't value the role of communications. But I will just speak generally to typical issues that comms people face, issues that I have also faced, talk you through how to overcome these obstacles, and really the bottom line in terms of how you want to position yourself within your organization. The first challenge or obstacle that I would like to start with, which comms teams generally do face, is limited trust in what they can do or deliver. Now, again, depending on the kind of organization you work with, you might experience this in different levels. Some of you may never experience it. If you never experienced it, that's actually very nice. But I remember I did a YouTube live session and, somebody asked this question. We're able to do it, but our CEO wants to bring on board an agency. How do we deal with this? And it has happened to me, but on the other side of it. So this is what I mean. In 2016 or thereabouts, there's this platform that I wrote to, just really giving them ideas on what they can do better in terms of how they communicate and all of that. And they brought me on board as an external volunteer. Now, what I didn't know until years later was that the comms person there really felt as if she was not competent. That why are you bringing this person on board? Who is this person? But we were able to work together, and that really ties into the answer that I will give to you. If you find yourself in a situation where your organization wants to bring an external consultant, an external agency, and you really believe you can do this job, don't feel undermined. I know it's not a great feeling, but how I would advise you to approach it is that you should leverage that consultant or that person, that agency, as a strategic collaborator. And that's what happened in the example with me and the comms person of that particular organization. We became good friends. We're still good friends now, but we worked together to deliver an exceptional result that at the end of the day, the praise, it was not just about me, it was about the team as a whole. And even after that, I was brought on board to still engage with the team, to still help with certain initiatives that they were doing. So she didn't see me as a competitor or a competition, and you shouldn't see the agency as your competition or your competitor. Think about how you can leverage them strategically. Another thing that I find is that these agencies bring learned experience and knowledge that you may not necessarily have. So that will be an opportunity for you to learn from them. But as you learn from them, learn how they do their things, because there's something about what they do that is attractive to your CEO and your organization, right? So how about you learn it, but then improve on what they have to bring to the table, and then come up with your own ideas and direct them as well, because they're not going to know the organization more than you, and that's just the truth. They are not even internal. They don't know the nuances and the context of the organization, and that's what you know. So if you come with that strategic angle, see how you can collaborate with them, see how you can leverage them to share ideas, see how you can also learn from them. You can overcome this challenge so that next time your CEO is saying, oh, okay, Our comms team is actually very competent. Our comms team or our comms person has shown initiative, has shown leadership in how they have stewarded this agency or this external consultant to deliver results for us. So don't see it as a bad thing. What would be a bad thing is that after doing all of this, then the organization continues to bring someone external. Then you need to ask yourself, am I really valued in this organization? But at the very beginning, don't knock it off. See how you can strategically collaborate with that agency or external consultants, learn from them, improve on what they have to bring to the table, and then articulate the results. You always need to articulate the results. You always need to let your CEO, your management see what you're doing, because that's when they begin to build confidence in your capacity and capability. Another common challenge that comms teams, I think most of us, if not all, have faced this, is being brought on board last minute. They've done the plans, they've articulated what they want to do, and they're like, oh, hey, we want to do a press conference, we want to launch this, we want to announce this, we want to put out a press release, and you're looking at the thing and you're like, wait a minute, this is just all over the place. This is wrong. The speakers are wrong. The platform is wrong. And it is very, very frustrating. But despite how frustrating it may be, there is a way to overcome that. There's a way, and it's also because that organization doesn't yet appreciate the value of what you bring to the table. They don't yet appreciate the value of comms, and you must be able to articulate that value. There was a former client of mine that it was the first time, working with a comms firm, and I did a lot of advocacy. I did a lot of speaking to the CEO to say, no, you need to put this in place. You need to do that. It was a brief that I had for a year. But what was interesting to me was that almost 2 years after I, completed that brief, they then they created a communications manager role. They didn't have that before. And the communications manager reached out to me on LinkedIn to say, thank you so much for giving me a soft landing ground to do my work in this organization. Yes, I still have a lot to do, but you created a foundation. I was like, oh, wow, that's so good, because I really advocated. I was like, no, you can't do this. I really, really pressed it in the CEO to understand this is the value, this is the importance, and that's why you must do it. Yes, you're like, why do we need to do it? It is what it is. You have to be able to educate them. So if you find that you're being brought on board last minute, this is how I always try to approach it. What quick win can I leverage on so that they can begin to see, wait a minute, this person has used their skills in communications and PR to solve this problem. They've been able to achieve this. And then they begin to ask you for your counsel. They begin to ask you for your advice. You get to the point where even the CEO is saying, have you spoken to XYZ person? Has she given the go ahead? Because they're seeing the value. So instead of getting frustrated and complaining and, feeling all type of way about it, start looking for quick wins. A way to do this is you're going to the different departments and you're saying, what challenge are you trying to solve right now? What targets do you have? And then you think creatively about how comms can help. And then that would also help you to ensure that you demonstrate the value, and they begin to, it's sometimes for some organization, the change can be slow, but sometimes for certain organization, it's very quick, especially where you deliver the results, you solve a problem, and you're able to articulate and show the problem. So you can see that I'm talking about articulating what you've done. So this is not about, oh, I'm working and I'm letting my work speak for me. No, because you are advocating, because you're trying to change the status quo, you must communicate, you must articulate the value, you must show the results in a way that it resonates with the management, that it resonates with the CEO, that it resonates with the senior leaders. So yes, it's a challenge that, you're being brought on board last minute, but it's a challenge that can be overcome. I think this third challenge is one that we can all relate to, working with a limited budget. Right now, everybody is really talking about Barbie, the marketing budget, the work the comms people are doing. They're not even talking about the marketing budget. They're talking about the activities. And I'm like, yeah, think about how much is going behind all these things that you're seeing. They're not achieving these things on air. It requires money. It requires a certain investment from the organization. And when you put the money behind certain things, you will see the results, right? So Working with limited budgets it's frustrating as well. There are many reasons why that may be the case. You might have the reason of, oh, they really don't see the value. You might have the reason of, there's just economic crisis, the organization just really cannot afford it. What I would say is that be creative. I've learned when I do my comm strategy, I look, okay, where can money be saved? So I look at that budget and I say to myself, what can I realistically do with this budget? If with this budget, and I will talk about realistic expectation, if you've given me a budget and you're trying to tell me that you want me to implement, on the ground activations or campaigns or activities in 3 different locations, I'm going to be like, this is not going to be possible with this budget. Shall we explore the virtual option? You need to be able to do that, right? But beyond that is, with the money that you've been given, show results. So you think creatively, you go the extra mile, you make the most of it, but then show the results and advocate for more money. I always do this. I deliver the best that I can with the budget that I've been given, but I also say to them, like, we achieved this with this budget. We leveraged on the relationships to get this. We leveraged on collaborations to do that. However, if we had X amount of money, we could have achieved so much more that will have delivered X value to the organization. So it's not just about you asking for more money. You always have to couch your ask or frame your ask in the context of the organization. What will help the organization succeed? What will help the organization to move forward? Some of you are just asking for more money and they just think that you're spending as if you're spending it on yourself. So your ask must be framed, right? And then you also need to consider the economic climate. If really, like if you're in Nigeria now, costs are rising, operational costs for organization skyrocketing. Again, that's why I said to you that being a strategic communicator, you have to be able to understand context. You have to be able to understand the organization, what's happening in the environment, in the industry and all. So you may want to start thinking, okay, how can we add value to the organization from this thing that we want to do, so that you are also saving money? If they see that you are saving money, if they see that you're making the most of the money you've been given, a reasonable organization, emphasis on reasonable, will be able to say, look, we don't have this money now, but we can increase on this level. We can do this. It has to be a partnership, but value still has to be demonstrated. And if your organization is notorious for always not having budgets, maybe, perhaps, it's time to go to an organization that will give you more room, because if you consistently have limited budget, it's really going to affect the delivery of your work. This challenge is also related to the conversation on limited budget, unrealistic expectation. Like if my company, they're now coming to use Barbie as a case study. Oh, we love how they did this. We love how they do that. And I know that they cannot even afford 1/4 of the budget. I'm going to be like, hey guys, if you have this amount of money, yes, we can go all out to do this, but don't ask me for this when we cannot back it up with, organizational support, financial support, human resource support, because you might have all the money in the world, but if you're only 2 people in a comms team, can you imagine only 2 people managing a large scale of, that kind of campaign? And I have seen people in different organizations literally across the continent. They are the only comms person, or they're only 2, and they are managing multiple countries. It's great that they have this ability to do it, but is it the most efficient for the organization in the long run? What then tends to happen to organizations like that is that when that person leaves, the organization is thrown into a turmoil because they haven't built a team. Their team is built around 1 or 2 people. And then if they leave, that's it. And I don't advise organizations to do that. Anyway, I'm not speaking to organizations today, but you need to be able to manage expectations. Yes, we create magic, we can go the extra mile, we can make lemonade out of lemons, but you have to manage expectations. There comes a point where certain expectations are unrealistic. And can I say, don't posture yourself as somebody who can do it all. That was me at the beginning of my career. And what I found that, so the good side of doing that is that you learn a lot of things. Like, because I'm creative and I'm multi-skilled, there are a lot of things that I can do. But what also then happens is that you begin to stretch yourself too thin. And then I found that when I would leave the role, the person that will come after me, because they are not multi-skilled like I am, they then, also have unrealistic expectations. Oh, Adedoyin used to do that. But the person can't design like I can design. I know at some point I was splicing audio because I could do it. There's really nothing that I can't learn, but that's not for everybody. So don't posture yourself as someone who can do it all. Your organization wants to start doing podcasts, they want to start doing video. Yes, you have some basic knowledge about it, but be telling them that, yeah, we need to get a video editor. Maybe we should get a freelancer to help with this, because it puts a lot of pressure on you. Imagine you're the one, coming up with the strategies, coming up with the plan, mapping out execution, you're creating content, you're uploading video on YouTube, you're editing, you're recording, you're doing podcasts. Do you want to kill yourself? It is a lot, and it is also not good for your organization. So you must speak up. Don't suffer in silence. You must speak up, and then if there are no changes after an extended period of time, like I always say, find an organization where the environment is more conducive, because you want to show effectiveness. If you're stretched too thin, you're not able to deliver the results that you're capable of delivering. So please manage unrealistic expectations. And the final challenge that I'm going to touch on, which I did speak about in the video on mapping out execution, is lack of internal support. Please get buy-in from the start. Think about the different functions as collaborators. I know dynamics within organizations are different. There's office politics, but I don't care for those things, to be honest. This is the way I think about it. I was employed to do a job. I was employed to help this organization to progress, to achieve certain objectives, and as best as I can, I will do it. I will collaborate to get the work done. So try and build your interpersonal skills. I try to I don't want to say make friends, because there's this quote on social media, or this conversation about your co-workers' family. Your co-workers are not family, but you can have a good relationship with your co-workers, right? You can, have a mutual respect and understanding for the work that you do, though different. You're working together to achieve similar goals for the organization. And what I tend to do is that I build friendships, let me say relationships, because some of your friendships may be a bit too deep of a word. I build relationships within the organization, and I develop advocates for the work that I do with people in the different teams, so that when there's certain meetings, they're like, oh no, I think Adedoyin should be here. Oh no, I think the comms team will actually be able to do X, Y, Z, because I am raising them as advocates. I'm talking to them about the work that I do. I'm helping them to understand what I do in the context of what they do. I'm also asking them how I can support and help them. So we're more like collaborators. Communicate the importance of the work that you do and communicate your results. Build advocates. You cannot be in every room, and if you need to be in certain rooms and you're not there, who is speaking up for you? Who is speaking up for comms team? Who is saying, no, please go and call this person, she needs to be here. The comms team needs to weigh in on this issue or add something to this issue. And you only do that when you're able to build relationships within the organization. Those are the 5 common challenges that I would highlight in this video. Of course, there are many more depending on the work situation, the organization, the country, the culture, but typically you find it to be limited trust in what you can do or deliver, being brought on last minute, rolling my eyes at this one, working with a limited budget, lack of internal support, and unrealistic expectation. Just to wrap up this video and this entire course, it is really, really important for you to be resilient. There are challenges in this work that we do in this profession, and some have more challenges if you're working in a complex organization with a very hardened bureaucratic structure. It can be frustrating, but you must be resilient. You can't allow the challenges cause you to give up. You must always be focused on what you want to do. Irrespective of the client, irrespective of the organization I'm working with, I'm thinking about the results. I'm thinking about the goal, because it is me. It is my name, right? It's not just about this organization. It's my reputation on the line. I have a reputation for excellence. I have a reputation for delivering results. So I must be able to push through these obstacles to be able to deliver. So you should also think creatively about how to achieve your results and the things that you set out to do, in spite or despite the obstacles that you may face. And obstacles come in many different forms. In fact, your obstacles may not even come from your organization. It may come from your external stakeholders. It may come from your audience. So you must have that mindset of, how can I overcome these challenges? And don't give up in the face of challenges and obstacles that arise. And finally, always bring your A game and position yourself as as a trusted advisor. That's where we really need to get to, knowing that our comms team delivers results, our comms team understands our objective, our comms team understand what we want to do, our comms team, they're a trusted partner, trusted collaborator. My comms consultant really gets what we're trying to do, really is adding value, and that's where we need to be. And I hope that as you implement all that you've learned from this bite-sized strategic communications course, you can begin to position yourself as a trusted advisor within your organization or with your client. Thank you for watching.